Hey guys, what's going on? I felt like making videos today, so I did that one silly one. I love Popsicle, and they always have like cool jokes on the sticks, so I figured I'd share my joke with you guys. They kind of make me chuckle. But what I really wanted to talk about was kind of a serious issue. It was kind of inspired by this book that I'm reading, Around the Way Girls, Part 2. I read Part 1. It's interesting. But today's video is also inspired by comments that I get from like friends or people in my family. Basically, it's about apathy. First, I want to read something to you that will give you a little insight on a specific example of what I'm talking about. I waited on the corner of 52nd and Baltimore Street for the bus to arrive. There were about 5 other people standing out there with me, waiting patiently for the bus to come. One girl had 3 kids holding on tight to her, and to top it off, she was expecting another. Kind of reminded me of myself. Her face was riddled with distress. I wanted to embrace her and tell her that she could make it, but a motherfucker never did that to me. So I got my ass on the bus and sat far in the back away from her and those whiny-ass children. I had to pay my dues, and so should she. Maybe by the time her 4th child arrived, she'd realize that her life was over, that her struggle was just beginning. I never said I was a mentor. I never considered being one. I needed to mentor my damn self. Okay, so that right there, it kind of irked me. My thing is, she mentioned seeing another girl, young girl, with 3 kids and 1 on the way. And she looked at her and she said she saw herself in this girl. She wanted to embrace her, give her a hug, tell her that everything was going to be okay because the girl looked distressed and just lost. But instead, she turned to apathy. She turned to the coldness and was like, well, I had to pay my dues and I had to struggle through it. Nobody was there to tell me and yada yada, and I'm not her mentor and all. Like, seriously? Maybe if the generations before us would not be so apathetic to us, and even us to our fellow peers and the generations below us, maybe the world would be a lot better place. No one seems to believe in sympathy or empathy anymore. Like, seriously? Where did all this I don't give a fuck come from? Since when did it become cool to not give a fuck? Since when did it become cool to see someone giving away their life, going through the same struggles that you went through, and instead of sitting down and talking to them and telling them that it's gonna be okay and explaining to them a better way out, you just gonna look at them and say, oh well, I learned from my mistakes, so you go ahead and make the same ones, and I'm gonna watch you fail and you're gonna just learn from yours. Yeah, you're supposed to learn from your mistakes, but if I made a mistake in my life and I figured a way through it and I figured out a way to handle it, or I look back and realize, damn, I could have did this and this would have been the right thing, why would I see somebody else going through the same exact struggle as me and hold that information from them? If there was no one there to help you and it made you feel that bad, why would you want somebody else to go through the same pain that you're going through? We are so separated from each other that it's ridiculous. You know, the other day I was driving down my street and, I saw some little kids outside. There was no parents around. My boy works at the barbershop, whatever. Driving down the street, I see these little kids running around. You know what I'm saying? They all running in the street and everything. I'm driving in my car. Of course I see them, so I slow to a creep, so I don't hit them, so one of them don't jump out in front of the car. I slow down by them, roll down the window. Yo, where's your parents at? They're at work. These kids had to be like 5 or 6 years old. I'm like, okay, well, you shouldn't be playing in the street. You know what I'm saying? Why don't you go on over on the sidewalk? Well, my mother lets me play in the street. Now, I'm obviously not these kids' mother, but I took it upon myself to get out the car and be like, listen, little man, you can't be playing in the street like that because you will get hit by a car. And then what's going to happen? Then your mommy's going to be really upset. You need to get out the street. Meanwhile, my friends in the car yelling at me, yo, come on, them ain't your kids. Why do you care anyway? I ignored it, gave my little speech. The kids was, in the driveway. I gave them all $1 a piece. There's only like 4 kids out there. I get back in the car and I'm just like, yo, what's your deal? Like, are you serious? He's like, well, you acting like they're your kids. You schooling them like they're your kids. I mean, if something happened to them, oh well. That shit broke my heart. Seriously. We can't keep turning a blind eye. I know nowadays everybody's every man for himself and, survival of the fittest and all that, but damn. We're all running the same race here, people. The human race. Why not help each other? That's like if a group of people were given $1,000 apiece. They're going to take their $1,000 and go do their own separate things. You know what I'm saying? Or they could be smart about it and come together. Say there was 20 people given $1,000 apiece. Instead of going off and doing your own thing with $1,000 and spending it in a day or two, why don't you put your money together? Then you have $20,000. Just think about that for a second. People don't realize how powerful you can be when you come together. I mean, I'm sure all my talking is probably falling on a lot of deaf ears, and I may be preaching to a choir to some people. I know there's a lot of people out there that feel like I do, but there's not nearly enough, because if there were, we would have more people being sympathetic and empathetic. You know, not so much as feeling sorry for me and looking down on me, but yeah, I want someone that's going to be able to say, you know, I'm sorry that you feel this way. And what's even better is when someone can say, you know, I know what you're going through. Here, let me reach out a hand and help you out. Let me give you some advice. Let me give you suggestions on how to better your life. I made this same mistake. I see you about to go down the same road, so let me take your hand and guide you down the right path. Nobody's willing to do that anymore. People always look at it like, well, I went through it, so why shouldn't you have to go through it? I don't know. It's all just really messed up to me. I mean, I don't know. I'm tired though, and I'm rambling now, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this short.